This is Mary's Creative Decor. If you're a subscriber, I want to thank you for watching.
And if this is your first time stopping by, make sure you become a part of the Creative Decor family. Hit the subscribe button and keep watching.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm sitting in my bedroom. I'm always moving things around. As you all know, I do have arthritis in my right hip. So I've been trying to make my bedroom a little bit more comfortable for me. Since I spend most of my time here in this room, I want it to be more comfortable. Now before, I did have 2 recliner chairs in the room. I removed the 2 recliner chairs and I had this sofa or love seat that I picked up from an estate sale. Of course, it doesn't match anything in the room. I plan on reupholstering it. I added legs, but these are too tall. I did order 7-inch legs to get it to the height that I wanted. But now I wanted to find a ottoman or something to prop my feet up on. Well, guess what? I remembered I did have one that was given to me over a year ago. So I went downstairs and I pulled it out. And I brought it upstairs, so I'm going to turn my camera around so you can see what it looks like. So here's a look at the ottoman. Now it's pretty large. So I bought this fabric. Didn't know why I bought it, but I'm happy that I did buy it because it will work perfect on the ottoman. If you follow me about, I want to say 2 months, 3 months at the beginning of the year, I reupholstered my headboard. And I have some of that fabric left. Now, it's not enough to do the whole ottoman, but that's why we're going to use this vinyl around the bottom of it. And hopefully I'll have enough of what's left on the bed to do the top part of the ottoman. So I'll have to check and see how much of that I have left. But no matter what, I brought this up. This is the rope trim that I used on the headboard. I brought up these nail heads. These are upholstery tacks, and they're in like an antique gold. I don't know if I will use them. Next, I have this 4-inch foam. Now, this foam is from a project that I did for my mother. My mother is 84 years old, and she wanted to buy new furniture. I told her no. There was nothing wrong with the fabric on her furniture, just needed new foam and batting. She has beautiful hot pink French provincial furniture, so I made it look new again. Now, the first thing I want to do on the stool is to take this black off. Now, the way it's done here, of course, I'm not going to do all that because I want to do a no sew because I don't have a sewing machine. So I'm going to take this off and see if I have to add new foam. And if I do, guess what? I have this 4-inch foam that will work perfect. Okay, so the cushion was attached to this base. So this is the base, and here is the cushion. So let's get the fabric off the cushion and see what the foam looks like. And it looks like the foam and the batting is in good condition, so I won't have to change it after all. So now I have to figure out how I want to reattach this. And my thought is so this black fabric on the base, I need to cut that away and see what's underneath there. So I laid out my vinyl fabric on my bed. I measured off 12 inches, and that is the height of the base of the ottoman. with about 2 inches to spare. So what I want to do is measure it off. I'm using a pen to mark it, and then I'll use my ruler to connect the marks. And then I'll just use my shears to cut along that mark to separate the two pieces. So this is the base of the ottoman. And I want to take the fabric that I cut, the 12 inches, and I want to line it up and wrap it around the base of the ottoman. Now I cut it so that I had a couple inches on the top and a couple inches on the bottom so that it will be able to wrap around and be stapled underneath. I use straight pins to hold it in place because I will have to cut off the length. The length is longer than the base of the bench. And here is the batting that I took from the bottom, and I will be placing that back. Once all my pins are holding my fabric in place, then I'll flip it over to the bottom. And this is where I want to begin stapling on the bottom. I didn't remove the dust catcher. I just want to fold this around the bottom, around these little legs, which I might change and I may not. I'm not sure. But let's go ahead and start stapling. Now here's where the pin is. I want to add one staple here. Then I'll go to the other side, add a staple. Once I have everything secure at the bottom, I'm going to flip it over and I want to cut that extra fabric off. I want to make sure it's enough to fold under so that I'll have a smooth edge. So I'll leave it about an inch or so that when I fold it over to cut it, I'll make sure those raw edges are lined up so that I can have a straight cut. Once I have it cut, I'm able to fold it under, and now I can start to securely staple it down on the bottom. Now I can finish stapling around the bottom and fold those corners securely. Then I use my hammer to make sure that my staples are secure. Now this was the piece I cut from the bottom. Now it is covering the straps that keeps the cushion from falling through. So I cut it a little wide. I left some of the black fabric on so that I could staple it back to the foam. So what I want to do is lay it out, and I want to pull my vinyl fabric over it, and I do want to make sure that everything is stapled into the wood. And here I pull those two pieces that I'm going to connect. I fold it back and I pull tightly, creasing that vinyl before stapling. And I also want to make sure that I'm stapling down that fabric piece underneath. I continue stapling all the way around the top of the ottoman. And here's how I tackle that corner. I take it and go with a natural fold of it, pull tightly, and staple along each of the pleats. Again, I fold that natural fold downward, hold it tight, staple on either side, then staple the fold down. And here's the bottom half of the stool complete. You can see where I folded the two seams and everything is stapled down. So this is the bottom half of the stool and the cushion will go on top. This is the fabric that I had left over from the headboard. This is one piece. I'm sure it's not wide enough to go around the cushion, but let's look at both pieces together. If I take the cushion and put it in the center of the longer piece, the one piece is not long enough nor wide enough. So if I use both pieces, bear with me, I'm going to figure this out. Okay, I think I got it, but I really can't explain it. So just watch. I'm trying to get the bottom piece to cover the bottom half and come between the middle of the sides, and the top piece to come down and go to the middle of the sides. So that's what I'm doing, stretching it around. And once I get it and get it lined up, I use my straight pins to hold it in place. So that's what I'm trying to do. Once I get the pillow cushion situated or positioned like I want, then I'll cut off the excess material on both ends. So you see the top piece come halfway down and the bottom piece comes halfway up. I'll fold in the raw edges on the bottom piece and pin it in place. Now I flip it around to the opposite end and I do the same. I fold back to where the fabric is halfway of the cushion on the side. I use the scissors and cut it back. The bottom piece is a little long also, so I use the table edge to make sure that I get a straight cut. I repeat the same thing. I fold back the raw edge on the bottom, pulling everything tight, take my pins and pin it into place. I turn the pillow around and I do the same thing to the other two sides. I fold the bottom raw edge down and pin into place. For my edges, the bottom, I made a pleat, I tuck it in. For the top, I cut off the excess material and I fold it around in one direction to the right. Everything tucks under and pulls around, like so. I can't explain it, but I hope you can see what I'm doing. Again, this is not how you upholster anything. This is just my fix on how to get around this pillow cushion without sewing. Now I want to take my rope and I want to take the banded edge of the rope and I want to put it underneath the pin. So what I'm doing is raising the pin up and pinning the rope into place right underneath, and the rope will be sticking from under. Now I decided where I want to put my rope. I take my hot glue gun, I remove the pin, and I glue the bottom of the pillow. I pull the rope into place until it's set. On the corner, I decided to do that natural fold into two. So I cut off the excess material and I'm kind of just rolling it underneath, and then I'll glue it down right where the rope is. So there's a bead of glue on the bottom of the rope and there's a bead of glue on the top. It is a little band, like a band there. I hope you can see it. And I'm just adding a little hot glue to that band. And then I hold the fabric on top of the band until it dries. Then I take a needle and where the fabric folds, I just slip knot it up and down until I close that fold up. I do this because I don't want the fabric, after sitting on it and moving it about, I don't want the fabric to move. So that's why I'm doing this. I'm doing each one of those corners on both sides. I'm just doing this slip stitch. So the fabric don't come loose on the end, you can circle it around twice. You could cut it long and tie it into a knot, but this is what it should look like. I'll do that on all the corners. And I'm going to continue to take my hot glue and glue down the rope. There's a bead of glue on the bottom band and there's a bead of glue on the top band. You see how I remove the pin? I put the rope underneath along the banding, like so. I pin the pin back on the top, and then on the bottom, I raise the band up and I add hot glue to the bottom first. Hold it into place until it dries. Then I go back, remove the pin from the top, and I add glue to the top portion. And I do it in sections so that it'll stay together.
Your price be going up.
So my pillow cushion is complete and ready to go on my stool. Look at the corners, how I sewed them down. Everything is complete. Now this cushion is larger than the base of the dresser, so I got this Velcro strip, and these are the wider strips, and I want to cut them down to size. I'll be adding a strip on both ends and down the side. Then I take the second row, which is the softer one, and I want to use the paper to measure them and cut them down to size. I then Velcro it to the top of the piece that's laying on the base. I do this all the way around. I remove the tape from all 4 pieces. And now I'm ready to add the oversized pillow. I make sure that it's centered before pressing it down. And now I'm ready to show you what it looks like. I'll be right back.
Your price be going up.
I think my stool turned out absolutely great. I raised it up so you can get a better look at how it turned out and how the pillow works on the base. There's a closer look at those corners and that rope trim. Now this pillow I'll be able to take off whenever I want and add something different. If this fabric happened to get soiled, hopefully by then I'll have a sewing machine and I could just switch out the fabric. The vinyl should be good for years to come. So if you've enjoyed this video and its content, it's time to hit the subscribe button. And don't forget the notification so you'll know when I upload new videos. It's time to say thanks to all that's watching. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. God bless. And I'll see you in my next video. Bye-bye.